Government launches 114.8 trillion shillings third national development plan. International Monetary Fund to support Tanzania addresses COVID-19. And in sports, Ahly coach Pitso Mosimane says the match against SIMBA Sports Club was the most difficult in the CAF Champions League. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Nasma Mwambe. Let's get started with the national news. The Prime Minister of the United Republic of Tanzania, Kassim Majaliwa, has said despite getting achievement from the just ended second national development plan, faced by many challenges such as on youth employment and unreliable incomes for individual Tanzanians. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa made the statement in Dodoma during the launch of the third National Development Plan, whereby 114.8 trillion shillings is expected to be spent on its implementation in collaboration with the private sector. Our country continues to face various challenges, for example, income differences and little ability to meet their basic needs, a situation which continues to exist in our society, and one of the greatest risks in achieving the objectives of the purpose of the development vision for 2020-2025. In addition to youth employment, which is still a challenge that needs to be addressed, this situation is contributed to a little level of production in the main economic sector, especially agriculture and industry. Another challenges including climate change, which continue to impact economic activities and development, the fall of the world economy due to events such as Brexit, the business war between the United States and China, and the COVID-19 disease. These events have affected cell production and availability of key products.
Serikali itahakikisha uwepo na utulivu wa viashiria vya uchumi jumla.
Government will ensure full industry economic indicator and the construction of inclusive and competitive international economy. This program is focused on improving industry production and service delivery.
Katika mipango ambayo imetoa nafasi.
This is a plan that has given a great opportunity for private sector to fulfill its responsibilities, but also to get a wide range of work.
Wa kufanya kazi na kupata maelekezo.
Meanwhile, members of the parliament have said more emphasis is needed to ensure the third five-year National Development Plan improves the lives of low-income people as well as social services.
Uchumi wa wananchi wenye biashara ndogo ndogo.
The economy of small business owners, because these are making big businesses to grow. They should be looked better in more details, and this plan will fulfill its requirements and resolutions.
Mpango uliozinduliwa na Waziri Mkuu leo kwa mimi kama mbunge.
The program launched by the Prime Minister today should look at the infrastructure issues in the country and on the health sector, where there are many hospitals that do not have medical equipment.
Sasa katika miradi ya maendeleo ambayo inakwenda kuakisi maendeleo haya ya mpango wa tatu ni pamoja na
in development projects that are reflecting this development includes the access to electricity for Tanzanians, but also the infrastructure and how to get the electricity to the people, and a simple environment for the use of electricity. President Samir Suluhu Hassan has held talks with the director of the International Monetary Fund for Africa, Abebe Selassie, on various issues including how the institution will help Tanzania address the coronavirus.
Came here to introduce the IMF team that's now working on Tanzania and ask how we can be of help to Tanzania, given the effect that COVID pandemic has had, of course, on Tanzania. It's not unique to Tanzania, but the whole region. She gave us a sense of what the effect has been, explained to us what work is being done right now to develop a plan to help the economy and people overcome this difficult pandemic. and also all of the changes that the government is considering in terms of economic policy going forward. So it was a good opportunity for me to find out what is afoot in the country, the progress that has been made over the last several years. So that was very helpful.
Inspector General of Police IGP Simon Siro has warned street leaders and ward executives to make sure they do not engage in criminal activities in their areas, and instead they should collaborate with security organs in fighting crimes. He gave the warning in TANGA region during a working tour.
We're not used to trouble. Anyone who wants to cause trouble will get trouble. This is why I've come so we speak, because I know that present are local government officials, very important leaders as far as crime is concerned. I always tell fellow leaders that we must respect them. It is a big shame that when a local government officer comes to the police station, is not shown cooperation.
Tunafanya kazi vizuri mitaani.
We are working very well within our community. There is community police, which is very good, and we are working well with our partners. However, there are challenges.
If
you tolerate lawbreakers in your areas, you'll be seen to be incompetent or you're part of the gang.
2 people have died and 7 others were injured in an accident involving a minibus with registration number T649CVA with routes between Matai, Katanga and Rukwa region after its brakes failed at Kanga Mountain.
Kufika maeneo ya pale juu kweli tulikuta majeruhi ni wengi, tukamkuta konda amesha kufa.
Upon our arrival at the accident area, we have found many injuries, but also a bus conductor and 1 woman have been found dead. Out of 10 people, 2 of them have died, a 35-year-old woman and a 40-year-old man, and others were sent to the hospital for more treatment.
There was a brake failure and 1 person has died.
The District Commissioner of Mwanga in Kilimanjaro region, former senior broadcaster at ITV Radio 1, Abdallah Moipaya, has been given an official farewell at ITV in Mikocheni, Dar es Salaam by the management and employees of the company after his recent appointment by President Samia Suluhu Hassan.
Kama mnavyofahamu Moipaya ni msanii, sio msanii wa usanii, ni msanii wa kuchora. Kwa hiyo tukaona zawadi ambayo kila kiangalia atakuwa anakumbuka, lazima iwe ni picha iliyojua. Kwa hiyo kwa niaba ya wafanyakazi wote wa ITV, Radio 1, Capital Radio na Capital TV, naomba tukupe zawadi. Mtu kuifungua ili ujue tunakufanyia wakati ni.
Kiukweli nimefanya naye kazi asilimia kubwa, vipindi vile vya Shambalulu nimefanya naye tangu tulipoanzia hapa Dar tukaenda mikoani, lakini nina imani kabisa kwamba kule unapoenda utaenda kufanya kazi vizuri, kwa sababu wakati tuko mkoani kuna siku asubuhi tumeamka tunataka kwenda kwenye kazi, lakini kidogo unajua ikatokea kama mguu kidogo akatenguka hivi. Sasa alivyotenguka mguu nikasema kazi tutafanyaje, na tayari tumeshawapanga watu wako shambani kule, umeona. Lakini akasema nitaenda kufanya kazi, na kweli tulienda tukafanya kazi. Kwa hiyo nje hapo mimi kila laheri, najua kwa vyovyote vile utaenda kufanya kazi.
Asubuhi wakati tunatoka kule walisoma tangazo, sasa wengine wakataka kugoma kwenda kazini ili waweze kuja kukuaga. Kaambia nendeni tu tutawakilisha. Kwa hiyo nikuja na wachache, lakini uone huu moyo uliouonyesha kwa vijana wenzako, kwa jamii nzima, mpaka watu wanashindwa, wanataka wasiende kazini.
Kikubwa Bwana Musa, kule sasa umeenda kwa wananchi, na kule umeenda kukutana na watu aina tofauti tofauti. Kule kuna madiwani, kuna mkurugenzi, kuna watu aina mbalimbali. Kila mtu atakuja na changamoto yake. Kwa hiyo kikubwa sisi tukutakie kila laheri. Tuna imani na wewe.
Teuzi ambao niliupata, ningekuwa tu mtu mwingine sehemu nyingine, sijui wapi, sidhani kama ningeweza kuonekana. Huenda kazi ambazo naamini kazi na yale yote ambayo nilikuwa nikiyafanya nikiwa hapa ITV ndio yalionipa nafasi ya mimi nikaweza kuonekana huko, nikaweza kuonekana. Lakini pili, ninachoweza kusema, umekuwa mwalimu mzuri. Si tu kwa sisi viongozi, watu ambao tulikuwa tunakusaidia kazi, lakini pia hata kwa wafanyakazi wote. Na niwaahidi, nimezungumza hapa kwamba nisiende kuangusha. Na kuna watu wanaweza hata wana wasiwasi, bana vipi ataweza, atafanya hiki. Inaweza kawa hivyo. Nawaambia kabisa naweza na ndaenda kupiga kazi.
Na kiongozi mzuri ni yule ambaye ni msikivu ili aweze kupata matokeo chanya. Lakini kama ulivyosema mwenyewe na kama alivyosema Mheshimiwa Rais kwamba mkinizingua
tunazingua.
Tutazingua. Absolutely. Kwa hiyo mimi nakutakia kila laheri na nataka ujihesabu kwamba ni moja kati ya Watanzania wenye bahati sana kwamba Mheshimiwa Rais ndani ya ITV yote na watu wote walioko hapa na uwezo wote ulioko ndani kakuona wewe. That speaks volumes.
Despite the government emphasizing on wearing face masks in areas where there is congestion of people in order to prevent coronavirus infection, very few people have been adhering to the health guidelines in Dar es Salaam.
Mimi nafikiri umekuwa mdogo kwa sababu hapa katikati kidogo ili janga lilionekana kama limeisha.
In recent days, it seems that this pandemic is over, but it is not the case.
Namshukuru Mungu kwa imani ambayo anatufanyia.
There are fewer buses compared to people coming into town, so we will be grateful if more buses are added to avoid congestion.
Tahadhari ni kama unaenda kupanda mwendokasi.
You must take precaution and wear a face mask and wash your hands at the bus station.
Mwendokasi wewe panda mwendokasi. Ukishafika kule tena kama hivyo unavaa barakoa, unanawa mikono na ingia ofisini.
The Chief Executive Officer of Tanzania Roads Agency, TANROADS, Engineer Patrick Mfugale, has died at Benjamin Mkapa Hospital in Dodoma. A statement signed by the Permanent Secretary of Works, Engineer Joseph Malongo, states that the former CEO of TANROADS passed away at 11 in the morning and that plans for his funeral will be announced in collaboration with the family. May his soul rest in peace. And that is the end of the national news. International news comes next after the break.
For some great news, I'm Christine Mundwa.
And I am Eddie Micah Jr. with the brand new DW News Africa,
the show that tackles the issues shaping the continent.
Now with more time to offer an in-depth look at all the trends that matter to you.
What's making the headlines and what's behind them?
We're on the streets to give you in-depth reports and insights.
DW News Africa.
Welcome back, and now in international news. South Africa's Constitutional Court has sentenced former President Jacob Zuma to 15 months in jail for contempt of court following his failure to appear at a corruption inquiry earlier this year. More on the report.
Zuma did not appear at the inquiry led by Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo in February, after which inquiry's lawyers approached the court to seek an order for his imprisonment. Zuma is accused of enabling the plunder of state coffers during his nearly 9 years in office. The Commission of Inquiry was set up by the former president himself under pressure of mounting scandals shortly before he was removed in 2018 by the ruling African National Congress, but he only testified once in July 2019 before staging a walkout days later and accused the Commission of bias.
Bus owners in Uganda have decided to turn to cargo services after incurring losses due to coronavirus restrictions imposed by the government. The restrictions means that people have stopped traveling upcountry. President Yoweri Museveni has urged citizens of Uganda to be patient and wait for coronavirus infection to go down.
Since these vehicles have PSV,
these cars are taxed every year, and so we have decided to devise other ways to reduce costs. We need rent, food, wages, and other necessities.
Almost 2 weeks, 3 weeks here when there's no cargo.
It is 2 weeks already without luggages to carry, no transport of cargo. We suffer a lot. It would be good if the government would open shops.
This is the last time we shall be in this type of situation.
This is the last time we shall be in this situation. We will develop the ability to create our own vaccines. We are currently doing well in our natural medicines.
Because we seem to be moving quite well on the therapeutic.
In Kenya, the government has reviewed COVID-19 containment measures in the country to curb the spread of the infection. Addressing the nation from the State House on Tuesday, President Uhuru Kenyatta announced a review of measures in 13 counties within the Lake Basin region as well as for the rest of the country.
Fellow Kenyans, the second path out of the COVID fog for Kenya is an opportunity with a promise. When we reported the first case of COVID-19 more than 15 months ago, the idea of a vaccine was nowhere in our minds. 1 year later, in March 2021, we were able to roll out a national vaccine deployment plan, and our strategy was to vaccinate 10 million adults by June of this year and approximately 16 million by June of 2023. But inspired by acceleration doctrine, which is about constantly increasing the speed of achieving our goal, we revised our vaccine plan, and instead of vaccinating 10 million adults by June of 2022, expect that we will vaccinate the entire adult population of Kenya, which is 26 million people, by the end of this year. In fact, by Christmas of this year, we intend to have vaccinated over 10 million adults, according to our experts, and we will have built a capacity to vaccinate 150,000 people every day as of August of 2021.
The Uganda People Defense Force and the Defense Force in the Democratic Republic of Congo have agreed to cooperate in ensuring peace is maintained in Beni Ituri, northeast of Congo, whereas ADF rebels have been carrying out attacks. We see the relation between the Congolese army and Uganda, and this shows how radical changes will be. Many years of war have never ended. We enjoy the relation between Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda. Through politics and diplomacy, it is possible to fight against illegal groups like ADF, most of which are Ugandan. That's it for the international news. Business comes next after the break.
Tune in to Business Edition and meet business leaders and experts who keep you informed on business and economic developments taking place in the country, such as tourism, construction, energy, transport, mining, agriculture, communication, banking, real estate, and more. Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and now in business news. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has said that the government will continue to improve the business and investment environment in order to create a competitive economy that will increase access to international markets and production activities.
na taarifa kwamba Singida huko ili uweze kulima.
I've been informed that in Singida, in order to cultivate sunflower, you must lease land. So it is possible that those leasing out get more than the farmer. There is a system that is not formal of land ownership, which presents a challenge to those who want to farm.
Tutengeneze mikakati ya kuwa na wakulima wadogo wa Tanzania.
Must come up with a plan for small-scale farmers in Tanzania, usually with at least 10 hectares, so there is a need to provide them with a tractor.
Tuna uwezo wa kuzalisha mafuta na hata kuexport nje.
We have capacity to produce oil and even export it. The package must consider those who produce together and buys.
Waangalie wale ambao watakaozalisha mbegu yao wana shamba na nini na kila kitu.
More than 300 rice farmers from Azimio village in Balari district in Bear region have signed a 3-year agreement with United States African Development Foundation, which will enable the farmers to get a subsidy of 478 million shillings to improve the value chain from their crops.
Napenda niwaletee salamu kutoka
From USAIDF, Elizabeth Fileki has submitted a grant letter of 478 million shillings for building capacity to produce and improve the level of rice produced here. We have secured the funds to achieve our goals, such as building a large warehouse, having capital, and we will benefit more than 3,000 farmers in 7 villages. NMB Bank has said their aim is to ensure the bank provides digital financial services so as to grow a cashless society in the country. To make sure we use most of the digital systems, a system that is more preferable by many banks, and the world is always on a digital platform. Our goal in the next few years is to make great changes for our community to deliver banking services without keeping money in hand. We have been supporting the government and ensuring that Tanzanians are involved in the official financial systems. In addition to increasing our income, I call on other banks and financial institutions in the country to support good efforts in serving the community in different fields and financial services, as supporting women and their groups. That is the end of the business news. The sports news comes next after the break.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Opposition, Joaquinho, he did lose to Lynn.
Welcome back, and now in sports news. Simba's Ahly coach Pitso Masimane has revealed the most difficult game they have played so far in the CAF Champions League this season is one against the Simba Sports Club in Tanzania. Here's more.
Finals the competition for the second season in a row after defeating Esperance of Tunisia 4-0 on aggregate in the semi-finals, and they will now face South Africa's Kaizer Chiefs in the final on July 17th in Casablanca. On Tuesday, the South African spoke to Ahly's media team, and when asked the toughest game he's faced so far, he picked the one against Simba at Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, which they lost 1-0. The game against the Msimbazi Giants was the second for Ahly in group stage, and a well-taken goal from Mozambican winger Luis Mikison was enough to hand them their first defeat in the competition this campaign.
Simba Sports Club have called on their rivals, Yanga Sports Club, to stay behind and stage a guard of honor for the mainland Premier League champions after their Kariakoo derby on Saturday. Here are more details.
The Wekundu of Msimbazi will host their Jangwani rivals in the top-of-the-table clash that will likely decide the destiny of the league title at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium. Simba have already taken control of the 18-team league table as they are 6 points ahead of their rivals, and the win against the Jangwani Giants will put them on the verge of a 4th straight title in the Tanzanian top flight. Today, Simba media officer Haji Manara has urged their rivals to make sure they honor the derby and further asked them to remain behind after the final whistle to give the champions a guard of honor.
Joachim Low will be forced into late fitness calls on Ilkay, Antonio Rudiger and Robin Gosens before Germany's last 16 meeting with England at Wembley tonight. Here's the story.
The trio ordinary starters were among the party that arrived in London on Monday, but doubts remain over their availability. Love explained Rudiger and Gosens are suffering from small infections and tiredness, which the coach likened to a cold, with Gundogan seeking to shake off a head injury. Love said they decide with the doctors on match day. In specific reference to Gundogan, the German coach said Ilkay suffered a cranial bruise. He felt a little bit better today. Yesterday he still felt a little dizzy, especially in training, so we said we had to stop his load. Today he did a good job, so we'll decide tomorrow. Personnel disruption is the last thing Love needs amid criticism relating to Germany's performance thus far.
Paul George scored 41 points, Reggie Jackson added 23, and the resilient Los Angeles Clippers staved off elimination by beating the Phoenix Suns 116-102 on Monday night in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals. More on the story.
The short-handed Clippers were playing without two-time NBA Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard and center Ivica Zubac, who missed his first game of the season with an MCL sprain in his right knee. They've already fought through 2 grueling series wins in these playoffs, coming back from 2-0 deficits to beat both the Dallas Mavericks and Utah Jazz. Now they're trying to claw back against the Suns. Game 5 was a good start. George was fantastic after a tough shooting night in Game 4, pouring in 20 points in the third quarter.
Patrick Vieira looks set to take over as Crystal Palace manager after agreeing a deal to succeed Roy Hodgson at Selhurst Park. Here's more.
The former France international, who has been out of work since being sacked by Ligue 1 side Nice in December, has held productive talks with the Palace co-chairman Steve Parish this week and is expected to be confirmed as the club's new manager within the next 24 hours. It will bring to an end a difficult recruitment process for Parish after previously breaking off talks with Nuno Espirito Santo before the former Borussia Dortmund manager Lucien Favre eventually turned down the post on the day he was due to sign a 3-year contract last week. Despite attempts to make the 63-year-old change his mind, however, it is understood that Palace have now settled on Vieira and hope that he can be appointed in time to be granted a work permit to begin pre-season training next week.
That sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. Thank you for watching and good night.